Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is Dawn Del Vecchio with Return of the Priestess and Mother Spirit. Happy to be here with you today. I'm excited to be able to share with you a conversation with a sister healer friend, Amanda Kulbaba. So, Amanda and I got connected because she's invited me to speak during an event she'll be having online that really resonated with me. And I'll tell you about that in a moment, but I want to tell you a little about her. So, Amanda has been working with clients for 25 years now as an ancestral, emotional, and energy healer. And through that work and even body work as well, she really came to an awareness of the greater impact of this auspicious time we're living in, and that inspired this incredible uh, event that is about to unfold mid-April called The Roots of Our Being. The journey to our past becomes the quest for our future. And I'm very excited to be a speaker in this series. I'll be talking about the role of the priestess, the reawakening of the priestess in these times, and why that's significant now, even though that's an ancient energetic. And so anyway, you can find out more about that event and sign up for free in the link below. But for now, let's dive into this conversation and get to know Amanda a little bit and a little more about this event. So Amanda, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Dawn, for having me. I am very honored to be here with you, and thank you so much again for having me. And um, I'm just so grateful and love to be in your presence with all the work that you do. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure. I love weaving the sisterhood, as I call it. Not that I'm excluding the brothers, because more and more I'm connecting with brothers as well, but weaving the sisterhood, the women at the center who are um, being called as divine conduits to lead the way, to bring, as you're doing with this incredible speaker series, the ancient ways to the future. So before we dive into that, I'd love for you to share a little bit more about your journey, because you've actually got quite a number of years of experience working with clients under your belt. So tell us a little about the nature of your work and how you support clients, and maybe you can just kind of weave into how that perhaps unfolded into this inspired series that we're about to share with the world mid-April.
Sure, yes, this is very exciting. So, as you said, I have been working one-on-one with clients over just over 25 years now. And I first started as a massage therapist and then dove very much deeply into energy work and very much emotional work. And it really sort of went with my own healing because I need just we all do. We all need a lot of healing, a lot of ancestral wounds, and really diving into my ancestors on both sides, my mother's lineage as well as my father, and understanding really the depths of what these other beings went through and their stories and how they affected us, each generation and really it comes to a place it allows us to come to a place of forgiveness as well, but I was able to then help support people emotionally in their connection of to with their inner child and what happened at home and when they were younger, and then going deeper and going to past and even to our ancient, our divine roots, because we're multidimensional beings. So sorry, my cat's coming in here. He likes the energy. And even another thing that I didn't, before we came on here, we were speaking, but I've also actually worked a lot with people with our past lives. Past lives come in very strongly when I do Reiki sessions with people. And in my 30s, I delved so much into my past lives. Like, I didn't even have to go into a meditation. I would close my eyes and bang, I was right into a past life. I can tell you lots of stories of our past lives. I actually find past lives to be fascinating, but there's so much a part of our story and are part of our ancient wisdom, as well as needing to go deep within ourselves to heal those wounds and find the hidden wisdom within those wounds. Because our wounds are quite magical. Like, yes, they're painful, but at the same time, when we can get the wisdom from it, it becomes so magical and so powerful to ourselves and to this planet right now.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that and weaving that in as well. It's so true. We are at this time, and I talk often in my community about this, that it's we're in an acceleration of the ascension, and we literally cannot take the old baggage with us from the family line, from this incarnation, and from the other incarnations on Earth or elsewhere, or who knows. We literally can't. And so there's been such a call for healers, leaders, guides, mentors, transformational facilitators to help us to basically jettison all the baggage through forgiveness. So thank you for bringing that in as well. As a Course in Miracles student and aspiring teacher, I suppose, forgiveness is the key, isn't it? It's the way we let go and let God finally, and recognize that we're in a dream spell, and that we don't need to take that stuff with us if we want to return to greater peace. So beautiful, beautiful stuff there. So how did you go from, or what in divine inspiration came for you that you went from individual, or maybe are still doing one-on-one work, to this call to reach a bigger audience, and this particular theme of roots for our future going into this? How did you put it here? The soul, or what I like to say from your words, that your soul's journey of remembrance and renewal. Tell us a little more about that.
Sure. So, I have always been very intuitive. I really came into this world to work with my intuition. So it's very strongly within me. And that's why in my childhood was a little bit bumpy with very conservative parents. But as an adult, I can embrace that now. And I will tell everybody right now, there was no way that I ever wanted to do summits. I mean, I was just, the visibility of it and inviting people. It's very scary. It's very scary to, be, even though like I can't see everybody here who's watching or listening to me, it is very intimidating. So a couple of years ago, I had done a lot of work on myself. And I'm sorry, can you hear that? My cat
Yeah.
is,
Oh,
it's
oh,
all right?
no, no, I just hear you
Okay,
very clearly. You're good. Yeah.
great. So a couple of years ago, I had been working on myself, working with the energy of Aries, of course, new beginnings, masculine energy, and I was connected with Jocelyn Starfeather, who creates lots of online summits. And I happened to receive a email of hers about doing online summits. And I saw it and I was like, there is no way I would ever do that. Why would I ever do something like that? But I couldn't leave the chair. I sat there and I kept reading this email and I'm like, why do I keep like reading this? Why am I just sitting here? And it was almost like spirits, like, you're not moving. This is something you need to do. And of
Mm.
course, I love working with tarot. That's part of what I work with too. And of course, I pull out my tarot deck and pretty much asking the same question and doing spreads. And all I'm getting are these beautiful, emotionally, again, work a lot with emotions, emotionally fulfilling responses. And I'm like, shoot, I think I have to do this. And that's really how it I listened to my intuition and I pushed myself. It was, definitely going into my shadow self to work on being visible and putting myself out there. Also, speaking is a little bit difficult for me. I had a very angry father. Well, both my mom and my dad were quite angry. And we, as children, couldn't really have a voice. And I sort of chose, now I realize, I chose to shut down and not speak. And I really felt like it's hard for me to find the words. It's hard. I'm also when I was younger, diagnosed as being dyslexic, which I think isn't quite right. I think it's just a different perspective, a different way of doing things and seeing things. But anyways, um, I always found it difficult to find and express the words that I wanted to say. So doing something like this was very difficult. And but it also pushed, like I also understood this was a place to push myself to do, to evolve and to overcome some blocks, especially mental blocks. So this is how I eventually got myself into doing this. We all have these challenges in our lives where spirit's like, okay, you're ready for that next level. You gotta get that courage and do it. So that's how it began. And I'm sorry, I do talk a lot. I'm getting to, so the roots of our being is actually my second summit. My first one was You Are the Cosmos last year, which was very successful. It was a lot of fun this year. Um, but just a very quick story I wanted to let everybody know is in October, I was planning to sit down and meditate about my next theme for my summit. And it didn't, of course, never works that way. And it was in Canada, our Thanksgiving is in October. And I was driving the Thanksgiving weekend and I came to a red light and I looked over to a tree and I heard the roots of our being. And I was like, okay, the roots of our being. And then I was like, oh, that's my next summit. And it's been such a beautiful journey for me too, because I didn't understand what that was. I didn't know what that meant. And so working with all who I attracted or the summit has attracted, has opened up and flourished into a really awakening and very interesting. Not what I expected, because I did expect a lot of ancestral work and there is that, of course, but there's so much more here, and I'm not going to give anything away. I want people to see and come to their own conclusions and connect in their way.
Beautiful. Thank you. You really are offering an embodied role model for us of what happens when we clear out our old stuff. We're called to rise to the next iteration of ourselves, which sometimes can feel scary. Sometimes can feel like, oh, I couldn't do that. And yet, when we lean into that, it's like pressing the open sesame button. As an astrologer, I often look to the nodes of the moon for this information. And so it sounds like I don't know your astrology, but you really were leaning into that north node energy, or other energetics in your chart that supported you in it's like that final clearing, almost like graduation test. Okay, so you've done all this ancestral work, this clearing, this healing. Now let's move into the new. Now let's really up level this and embody yourself at that higher level that you did all that cleaning and clearing work for to begin with. And I love that and appreciate that. And I know from leading summits myself that when you invite speakers, that is its own edge, right? It's kind of like the what if I have a party and nobody comes? But then those speakers, people who have stepped up to lead, have often, generally always in our space anyway, in the kind in spirituality and healing space, they have done the same. And so there's this gathering of high frequency or self-aware beings, not, I'm not saying masters or anything like that, but people who have are a few steps ahead, have done the work, have done the inner work enough to now embody a greater expanse of who they are. So, and you have to have done that to lead a summit for sure. So I didn't realize this was your second summit, and I just love the topic, and I'm super excited also to receive the wisdom from the other speakers who will be sharing there. So let's see, what else? Anything else? Let me feel into um, journey to the past becomes the quest for our future. I guess I would love to invite you into sharing anything you are receiving or see as our future, because there is, as we know, during this ascension acceleration, a great deal of, as I like to say, invitations to fuss, fret, and worry over dystopia. But there are many of us who recognize that that's actually a false narrative unless we co-create it. So, what have you received in terms of future vision or, yeah, anything inspiring you want to share with our audience?
Sure. Thank you for the question. This is a very important question and really important for everybody to think on right now. Because yes, you're right. Everybody, I have clients who come in and they're like, can you just reassure me that this is all okay? Like everything going on out there, we're okay. We're like, it's going to be all right. And I'm like, yes, it is. Like what is happening out there is perfect. It is perfect and beautiful. And what I'm seeing out there is we're seeing projections of all aspects of ourselves that need to be healed still. You know, the narcissism is a beautiful one. And really also what we're seeing, and this is so important to understand, is the masculine is crying out for us to heal and balance. Yes, the feminine energy, the goddess energy, she's rising up again, and we are embracing her, especially as females, but I do think the males are as well. The masculine has suffered so much without her. He is so undernourished. It's like, you know, a third world country and a child that his belly is extended because no food, no nourishment. And we can see that in the males that are representing this. I'm like, I don't like to say the name, but like Trump is awesome. Awesome. It just the energies of that masculine is just like, yes, we need to embrace and nourish that. And it is a projection of aspects of ourselves. We all have to do that. And this is beautiful to do it. It's perfect. Like it is perfect in all ways. So we are in the messy stage right now of working through that healing and working through that balancing and working through that nourishing within ourselves, taking it in and seeing that reflection back at us. And as we do this, we start to feel this more grounded sense of ourselves where we can be like, because let's face it, the masculine energy is about going and doing things. Yes, the feminine energy is about having that vision and dreaming and creating, but we need that support of the masculine to take it further. And with all of that coming together, that is perfect. That is perfect. And I do see we're doing it. We may be going down some roads where we're going to be like, whoa, we have to pull back here. This was too intense one way. We need to go the other way. Um, but I think humanity, all of us are doing that. And with all these beautiful summits, so many people are doing summits. So many people are starting to rise to the occasion now, and we
Yeah,
are doing it. We are
yeah.
supporting each other. We're creating communities. We're coming together. And I like to point out too, like people get upset with seeing all the negativity out there. And again, I don't think it's negativity. I think it is an opportunity to see what needs to be healed for ourselves. I think it's perfect. And there are a lot of souls out there who are showing that to us, being very brave to show us that. Um, but at the same time, I just lost the train of my thought there, but as we do that, we are moving towards creating something so much nicer. It's the butterfly, right? We're in that cocoon in that messy stage where it's just all mess. Nothing has developed yet. And I think in over the next coming years, we are going to burst out and we are going to see that butterfly. I think we're going to get stronger. I think right now we're a bit vulnerable, but we will get there. We will. And I think too, with all of these communities coming together, that's what I was going to say. We're being supportive. There's a lot going on around the world to support and to create communities, people stepping up into their leadership roles. We're all working on it and we're all doing it together. This is why I like to talk about my own healing stories and showing that, like, yeah, I've been vulnerable a lot of times. I've had to push myself a lot of times. Sometimes I just stood back, like I took a step back and it was like, no, I'm not ready for this. And that's because we're all human. We're all doing this together. You're not the only one if you're feeling a bit lost. I've felt lost too. I felt stuck in my life too in places. But I have been able to eventually overcome and come out of it. We're doing it all together.
Thank you for the reframe and on seeing the circumstances of the outer world as really revealing what needs healing and clearing, and it's on so many levels. It's the leadership, it's the wars, it's the media and the false narratives, because there's a tremendous amount of misinformation, confusion, and distress. And what I like to see it as many invitations to keep our frequency low. But as you pointed out so clearly, there are so many communities coming together, and to me, I see one of the solutions is to literally withdraw our attention from that scene, because it is an out projection of our shadow, as well as, the good things that are happening that you will never see in the media, right? Unless you really refine your feeds in YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever your socials are. So, yeah, I too feel there's a great deal of hope right now, but we are at the end of a spiritual season, and that means that all the baggage, just like earlier, when I pointed out that the idea that we cannot awaken and ascend by dragging around a truckload of turds of old shadow material, gunk, and baggage. That's personal and collective. And that's as you pointed out, why you like to share your own story, because it always comes back to the personal. As illogical as that seems, like those who are very steep still into the mainstream consciousness will go, well, I'm just one little person. What can I do to make a difference? Those people out there have all the power. That's da 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 da. But each one of us, one person in high frequency, is more powerful than thousands who are caught up in the narratives, the drama, the distress. So thank you very much for sharing that. And yeah, and really reframing. Let us look at anything we see that is disturbing to our peace as an opportunity to forgive and to go, aha, there is something we are healing. And I am healing personally, so that my frequency is higher in service to a positive future. Love it.
Exactly. And another thing that I just want to say too, that I feel that is very important right now, it comes to what you were talking about in, the negativity that's out there and a lot of the false narrative is also, it's really important that we step up and use our intuition more. You know,
Mhm.
we really need to work on developing it, and not just developing it, but also using it. You know, you can use your intuition to tell you whether what this person is saying to you is right for you or if it's not right for you. And it doesn't mean that it's negative or lies. It's just simply, does this resonate for me? Is this my truth? And when we start to work and use our intuition more, we are in our power. And we also are connecting with our own ancient wisdom. We are connecting deeper to our ancient selves, to our ancient heritage. And we're allowing that all to come up to play. We don't need to find out there in the external world, who we are. It's all in here. And if we can work on developing and if we can work on using our intuition on a daily basis out in the world, that's our compass. That
Mm.
is like, that's helping us navigate the external world in a healthy way for ourselves. And that way, you can find the right path that resonates and works for you.
Beautiful. Thank you. What a important point there. So thank you for in bringing that one in, using our intuition instead of looking externally for guidance. That's part of this new consciousness, absolutely, that's coming in. And I can't help but sort of state the obvious, which means that too much overstimulation, too much consumption of other information is counterproductive to that ability to refine our access to our capacity to receive or to hear that intuition. Beautiful. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for this time. Would you please share with us just some of the details of the summit that you would like our listeners to listen to or to know about, and then we'll conclude for today.
Thank you. Yes, well, I would like people just to take it in and find again what connects with them, what resonates with them, what pulls them. The summit is from April 14th to April 18th. It's 5 days. I'll probably have it go a little bit longer to give people more chances to take in all the different speakers. We have 22 speakers, so it's quite a good, beautiful group. Very powerful. And I have to say, everybody is fantastic. Like they're just bringing great perspectives, great insights, great words of wisdom, and also ways of working with your own intuitive abilities, with your own physical self, like connecting and tapping into your own inner wisdom, understanding your ancient heritage, realizing your multidimensional self, and also, again, how to work with this world and what how to create what we want to create in our own life, because though we're all doing it together, it is also very individual. There's, and the individual is also connecting to the all, that we're all doing it together. So it's this sort of getting this understanding, this bridge of what that means, that balance for yourself. But I just say to everybody, yeah, sit, see what resonates with you. Not all the information will. Some of it will be like, this is not for me. And that is okay. Like that is part of your truth. So again, it's really sitting and seeing what speaks to your ancient self, what speaks to your inner truth, and where it leads you. Where does this journey take you? So yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. And yeah, the promotional period is 2 weeks. People can sign up and register 2 weeks before the 14th. So from March 31st to the 13th, and you can still actually register during the summit. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoys. I do have to say, we do have a very, very strong group of females. The divine feminine is very strong in this. So, yeah, it's a very, very interesting. I find this very, very fascinating.
Great. Well, thank you so much. So, for those of you listening now, you could go ahead and check out the notes below the video and click on the link to register. It is free. Join us for the Roots of Our Being, April 14th through, what is it? April 14th for 5 days
18.
through
Yeah.
the 18th. We would love to have you. And again, thank you, Amanda, for your time today. Best wishes with the summit and many blessings to all of you here with us today. Bye for now. Mwah.